So I've been working at this club called Aura Bar for 4 years now, and the recent owner has sold the club 6 months ago. The two new owners would like to change the club into something called Cogs Bar, and Cogs Bar is a steampunk themed bar. In my research I started to look at current steampunk bars, and the steampunk bars that I found were located in Cluj, Romania, for example, Jobim Bistro. This is the perfect kind of scenery that we are looking for at Cogs Bar. My bosses actually went to Cluj to visit this bar and were shocked at how amazing that the decor was. Steampunk seems to be extremely popular in Romania, and I'm lucky enough to be working with one of the guys who designed Jobin and Enigma. What I really like about this style is that it's extremely eye-catching, sort of like going back in time or even entering another world, like a post-apocalyptic bar full of machines and mechanics. I'm a big fan of the steampunk style. The thought process I went through when creating a logo is something that I always do. Firstly, write out the word in lower and uppercase letters, then I proceed to draw them out again in bubble writing and square bubble writing. Secondly, I think of the first thing that comes to my head as a style of design. In this case I thought of vintage swirling designs. Why? Because when I think of steampunk, I think of old school types of logos and designs, so I drew out my first idea quickly. I then go on to develop that. Finally, when I get to the point where I feel I've done as much as I can with that, it usually leads me on to another idea. In this case it was a stencil type font. I think that this really suited the word as well as the logo itself because of steampunk featuring raw mechanical mechanisms. When I took all of these to the computer, the client was extremely happy with the one that I made, and now I need to do more with that logo. I am now going to show you all of the outcomes. This is the chosen logo that I designed. I chose to incorporate a cog into the logo because of the client's request. I'm not too sure on the strapline expect the unexpected, but it is something the client has chosen and wants to keep. The reason for this is that it means to not be surprised by an unusual event. Anything could happen and probably will. The whole point of this bar is to surprise people that enter and experience a new atmosphere. I originally wanted to design more logos. I was sending each logo as I designed them to the client as we had a WhatsApp conversation. I was going back to my sketchbook to make at least 10, but they were so happy with this one they didn't want me to make any more, so I was stuck with this logo and started to create a banner which we need to go outside the current bar, which is called Aura Bar. This wasn't the logo that I'd choose, however I was stuck with it because the client wanted it, so I thought I could at least make it look good if it was in 3D. I went down to the laser cutting studio and had a few difficulties, so what I did was I made a few 3D mock-ups, and I've convinced the client to make a 3D sign outside of the club when it is created. The client then wanted a teaser to put on social media accounts, and you will see this video right now. The clients asked for an extremely simple stage, easy to access, nothing too fancy, so they could add mechanics to it after it has been built. So I proposed a stage with stairs from 3 angles. However, they then told me they don't want the stairs all around the stage to prevent others from running up on stage if there is a performance. This led me to think on how I could improve on this design and make it something that would fit the theme and style of the club. So I come up with something a lot more simple, with one set of stairs which could be protected by a bouncer. So this was my second design, and this idea consisted of a really simple stage design with mesh at the bottom so the sounds from the speakers will cross over and give a bigger punch than before. The speakers were previously behind booths. The client took a great liking to this and said they wanted the stage to be varnished burgundy. I suggest staining the wood to look natural. They wanted the vision they had. So basically then, I got into work. This is the final outcome. This is going to be followed by a video of me walking around the stage. This stage was even used for a live performance on New Year's Eve. As I mentioned previously in this video, I was to make a banner for Cogs bar. This banner would be put up at the front of the current bar, New Hall Street, and the banner is now up, and I've already managed to get some messages on our social media pages. Following up on this, I decided to have a chat with Alex from Romania, who had been working on Enigma and Job in Bistro, to ask him a few questions. What is it about the steampunk theme that you love the most?
Well, basically, the thing that I love the most in steampunk is that you can recycle a lot of metal materials that for most of the people are scrap. Basically, you can create art from other people's scrap, and because the influences from the Victorian era are so big, you can basically redesign stories that authors like Jules Verne used to put in their own writing.
So, having worked on steampunk bars in Romania, why do you think one in the UK will be so successful?
The current of steampunk originates from France and UK as well. Basically, the biggest communities of steampunk around the world are based in UK and France. Until now, a lot of bars tried to do something regarding steampunk, like steampunk designs, but they didn't went all the way. We want to do it proper and really give the people a steampunk bar.
When do you think the project will be live and running by?
Well, it's a very big project actually. We'll start. The club is based in three floors. We'll start with the ground floor. That should be done until late February, or beginning of March, something like that.
Talk a bit about your design process.
Well, the design process it's hard because I have got kind of a rough idea how we want to transform it. You guys will see in the sketches as well. But the problem is when you start working on this kind of level with steampunk, you always get new ideas and try to improve the original design that you start with in the beginning.
Thank you very much, Mr. Alex.
It was my pleasure.
This chat was then followed up by Alex talking about one of his table ideas.
So, imagine this as a high table in the club, yeah? You'll have one table here with hinges that can fold on the wall if you need it, and two separate triangles made by iron that you can fold like gates with 3 seats each. Basically, that's kind of it.
Finally, I was asked to create a steampunk themed flyer and some staff uniforms. I was told not to make them too formal, sort of like casual wear, so I contacted a steampunk artist and she was more than happy to let us use her designs on our clothes. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to check out my blog for sketches and other research.